Oh my. Oh, Fairfield, Fairfield. Look at this congregation. Look at them. We have Donald Revolinski all the way on the end there, miles away there.
Hello.
We have Andrew MacKenzie over here in the middle.
Good afternoon, evening, or whatever.
And we have Mitch Goudy.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to Fairfield 2.0, which is what you're watching. Let us start with, let's start in the middle. I always go, let's start in the middle. Monkey in the middle. What are you up to these days, sir?
I try to get up in the morning and kind of stay awake until bedtime.
Cool.
Pretty much.
Very good. Very nice.
Then,
very nice.
It's usually downhill from there, but.
Yeah, what he's not mentioning is that he probably spends most of the day researching yet new iterations of some of the greatest hits of our time.
Or any other time.
Or any other time. And we're going to have to get into this at some point, but he is probably one of the biggest Beatles experts I've ever met. He knows the insect inside and out, in addition to the musical group.
Yeah, I focus more on the insects, though.
You were, speaking of musical groups, you were in a musical group.
Yes, well, some say it was musical. I mean, there's some debate about that. Yes, it was Yellow Submarine, the Beatles cover band.
Who was in the band with you?
Well, me.
Okay.
Oh, there were some other people. All right. David Cohen.
Who? David Cohen?
David Cohen on rhythm guitar. His daughter Gemma on vocals.
Gemma Cohen.
And keyboard. Chip Charleston on bass and vocals. His daughter Emmy Charleston on percussion. And we had Chris Poole as our original guitar player. Cool. And then later a young Mr. Cohen himself took over on lead guitar. So
young Mr. Cohen meaning Jimmy?
Jimmy Cohen.
Jimmy Cohen.
Jimmy Crack Cohen, and I don't care.
Cohen? Johnny Cohen, of course.
Johnny Cohen, yes.
All right, so those years were the golden years, I'm imagining.
That's right. I've been pretty much in a state of depression ever since.
How often do you get the urge to get the band back together?
Me, not so much, but David, I think, really, really misses the band. The kids have all gone on to do such wonderful things already.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying. They're gorgeous. They're talented. I hate people like that.
I know, and they're always on this show, too.
Yeah,
I can't keep them off the show. David, even. I'm kidding, of course. These are some of the most talented. This is like the most talented family I think I've ever met. Okay, I am really amazed. You have a radio show on solar-powered Crew FM, which I think is now called People-Powered Crew FM or something, whatever they've done. But you have a
100.1 FM, whatever that is.
That's right. You have a show that has been one of the most informative music shows I think I've ever heard. It's like you really should have gone into syndication. And I mean that totally real, totally honestly.
Well, thank you.
Were you tempted to ever do that with your show? First, let me explain. This guy, Andrew MacKenzie over here, has a show that it really is so rich with the history of certain songs and again the various variations, the various variations of the songs on the
a variety of various variations
and a variety of various variations. And it was really amazing to come to this station. I used to blog there sometimes at night, and I would come almost specifically because I could sit there and listen to Andy's show.
Like so many people.
Like somebody, you had to turn them away at the door. But your show was. Your show was like, it was really special to me. Now, you put it on hiatus for a while, but I want to pressure you, just like David wants to pressure you to put the band back together. I want to pressure you to get back to that show, man. I know they're airing reruns.
Yeah, and they've got 5 years worth, so.
5 years.
So.
All right, never mind.
Man. That's right, there's lots of shows you haven't heard yet, so don't worry about it.
But have you ever heard his show?
Of course he has. He's a regular listener.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he is.
The answer was yes.
Big fan.
Big fan. What do you want to do with what do you want to do with the rest of your life? No, what do you want to do with
I'm available.
What do you and for people to reach out, your website is. What do you do as far as you can't be leaving this alone. You have to be diving into music still. I'm sorry, I'm insisting.
It's actually very strange. I've kind of lost my music mojo for the time being. I don't even listen to it in the car anymore. I'm listening to audiobooks.
Oh, okay.
For the most part.
What are you listening to on audiobooks?
At the moment, Penn Jillette's latest collection of invective. He's a very funny guy. You know Penn and Teller, the magician, and the comedian who've been doing stuff forever and ever and ever. So yes, he has a book out called Every Day is an Atheist Holiday.
Are there any points in there that we should know?
Not that I could repeat on a public TV station.
There you go. Without offending at least.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We have to bring these other guys into this.
Why?
Okay. I know.
I mean, they're just kind of here to bookend me.
This should be
right?
the Andy MacKenzie show. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Andy MacKenzie show.
Yeah, talk to the guy in the white shirt.
Mr. Donald Revolinski, what are you working on these days?
Well, I'm working on changing my shirt these days. You know, I don't.
By popular
Shirt's fine.
Try
demand.
not to wear white on a film set if I can help it. Kind of forgot today. I don't wear white because the light will reflect too harshly off of a white shirt, and it'll often overexpose and not look as good as, say, a nice navy blue shirt, or even a light blue shirt, or even a gray shirt. So use these guys as role models, not me, for coming on public access. But
I would use you as a role model, though, for everything else. Okay.
oh well, I appreciate that.
What are you working on? I'm really.
Well, I just finished a feature film. It's called The Vindication of Ronald Clay. It was shot here in Fairfield. And it was Cullen Thomas, who's a good friend of mine. He came to me with an idea for a movie, and he said that we should do it as a curriculum over a 3-month period. So it would be a feature film production 1, 2, and 3 at Maharishi University of Management.
Okay.
So for 3 months, we'd get a bunch of students and make a movie with them, essentially. And I told him that we couldn't. We decided that we couldn't use the script that we had. I think this was in February or January, and we were going to
2012.
of 2011. Actually.
2011. Okay.
And we decided that because our first month of starting this film process was going to be in April, so it was like, okay, we don't have a script come the end of January. What are we going to do? So Colin, in 6 weeks, wrote a new script, and then we started The Vindication of Ronald Clay in April, and we shot through April and May and into June, and it kind of went by very quickly at just a dashing cheetah's pace. And then we spent probably 2 years editing it. It's been kind of a big hassle to edit because him and I have jobs, and it's just like whenever time we can sort of throw at it when we're not doing everything else we need to do to stay out of debt and make money. So finally now we're coming to the end of this process. We're probably going to release it online later this year. But it's been sort of an extraordinary journey just getting this thing out there.
Yeah, I saw you. I remember everybody pulling things together as you were filming it in town. I was watching, the fun, the chaos that snapped to it, and fell in line when it was the moment that was like, okay, rolling or action.
Yeah.
So I think that just from watching that, I was really curious about the movie. Now I hadn't seen it yet. So I'm going to have to wait for the online version, but but this will be your vision, right? The final edit of this will be yours and Colin's vision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we made it really hard for ourselves because we decided after we had already shot our script that we wanted to do some script rewrites. We actually removed an entire character and combined that character with another character, and then we had to do these reshoots and tricky editing to make it work. And so all of this ended up basically adding a whole year to the process. So otherwise it would be out by now. Maybe I can give you guys a copy of a DVD or something here at FPAC.
Okay. So just how much consulting did Andy give you for this film?
Well, every time we need a radio voice, we go to Andy, pretty much.
Of course.
Or Jeffrey Hedquist. I think, did we go to you for The Vindication of Ronald Clay?
I think Jeffrey did the voice.
Okay.
For that. I don't know, so long ago.
Yeah.
But you know what? No wine is served before its time. Isn't that the line?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Gets better with age.
One of those.
Like most film stock.
But did you have? I'm sure it was a blast. You were working with most of the people that you kind of were not only friends with, but in some cases grew up with here.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a very comfortable film to make, and it was almost like it was a vindication in some ways.
I guess in a way it was. Yeah, it was vindicating us from not working, I suppose, and being mediocre. Not, it's like it's the next step in our careers.
Right.
Certainly.
Now this is maybe one stop along the way for you. I've watched you behind the camera doing music videos in town, doing other film projects. Are you working on anything right now that you can or can't talk about?
Yeah, there's a gentleman named Steve Kennevan who has a script called Angels Charlie's, which is essentially Charlie's Angels meets Airplane. So it's like an incredibly wacky comedic action comedy thing. Just some of the humor. It's like when it hits you, it's like what did they actually just do that? They just made a farting joke in the middle of a fight. It's like. But the script actually, I mean, I just made it sound really awful and corny, but the script is actually
I would
quite
expect no less
interesting.
than that type of.
And we're going to be filming in Des Moines later this summer, it looks like, at this point. So I'll be producing that. Also, there's another project that a friend of mine in Austin, Texas, she's doing her filmmaking master's thesis, and she's coming to Fairfield to shoot it. I don't know how much I can talk about that one specifically, but that will also be happening this year. So,
have you done anything in association with the David Lynch Foundation?
I have, yeah. I'm usually the guy that they call when they need an extra hand, either in the editing room or behind the camera or whatever. I don't actually work for them specifically. I'm sort of for hire. So. They do a lot of really excellent work in terms of.
Are you also a product of the program over at MUM?
Yeah, so I did the media and communications major when I was at MUM, and now I'm working in media and communications as the equipment manager. So I enjoyed the program quite a bit. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, I guess. Nice. And It's been really nice because working in the film department means I get to basically keep my filmmaking edge sharp all the time.
Right.
I'm constantly helping a student or a person in town or whatever gets thrown my way. I'm helping them out with their projects, and so whenever it comes time for me to do my own project, I'm greased and ready to go.
Up to speed.
Yeah.
Did you get mentored over there?
You could, yeah.
By Stuart or anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Stuart Tanner. And Gertie Elite, the elite at MUM. And shout out to Colin Thomas also, who we were students together, but he's now a professor over there, and he's doing an excellent job. And everyone else in the media and communications program.
Nice, beautiful. And of course, you're going to need music for your films.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy, Goudy.
Howdy.
Mitch Goudy, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for coming. And I see a guitar next to us here, which means possibly you'll be playing some songs later, maybe?
Yes.
I think it was just coincidental.
Okay, well then, it was a nice place to rest it. But you're working on an album right now.
Yes, I am. I hit the studio last week is when we've officially started the recording process.
Nice.
So I'm getting pretty excited for that.
How many songs will you have for the project?
We are not 100% sure right now. We're laying down a bunch of tracks. We have about 17 songs that we've narrowed it down to.
Nice.
And then we're probably going to bring that down to 10 to 12 songs by the end, just depending on which ones have the magic, is what they call it. So.
And how many, I imagine, are video friendly?
Video friendly. We actually are shooting videos to a few of the songs. I shot my first music video, To Make You Feel My Love, earlier this year, and that was a cool experience.
What kind of video was that?
Music video.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. What are you going to do with?
It might go on cable.
Yeah.
What are the intentions with the project? Do you want to go to a major label and sell it, or do you want to use this as your first project that you're selling as, as the piece that you can be making money off of during concerts? What's the deal?
Right. It's kind of a dual purpose. I want to have an album that I can hand out to my fans and say, you know, this is what I'm working on, and obviously to have that there so my fans can really listen to it. Mm-hmm. But it also serves a purpose where we can then send music to bigger labels and things like that, and so we can start using it for both.
Now, you being in country music, there's a tradition, of course, of people writing country music. You've written a lot of these songs, right?
Yes.
Or co-written or whatever?
I have co-written or written every song on the album.
Nice. Okay, so there is a tradition, since this is country, and since that implies Nashville, of having other people record, recording other artists' songs and material, other songwriters.
Right.
Is that another goal of yours?
Is to record another person's
is to have another person record your material.
Oh, absolutely. If somebody's interested, I've always kept the door open. I'm a performer.
Right.
So I like performing my own songs, but I'm always open to people who want to take my songs on and get cuts, and I'd be a songwriter if that's what the music industry led to. Absolutely.
Now that's where I was going with that, with the thought of the future, and you having big play. I know you. You're there like with plan. I was just wondering if that was one of the plans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I write a lot of music with Justin Hill, who works a lot here in Fairfield. Justin Hill.
Justin Hill.
Justin Hill. Yes.
Can I say that one more time?
Justin Hill.
Justin Hill is his name. And it works out really well because I'm a very lyrical writer. I've written a lot. Well, I've listened to a lot of music lyrically, and he's very melodic. He doesn't really think a lot about the lyrics, so it works out perfect because we say, you know, I say, oh, I don't like that melody, but he's like, oh, I don't like that lyric. But other than that, we kind of stay out of each other's way.
Yeah, nice.
So it works out very well, and he's a great mentor and my manager. It's great. So.
Nice. It's good that worked out. Are you looking at eventually, someday, moving maybe to Nashville and having
Absolutely.
A full-blown...
Yep. Right now I'm working in the studio in Bloomfield, Iowa at Third Floor Records. And we're going to start touring around, kind of gaining a fan base and getting experience. And then I do plan on going to Nashville at some time. Hopefully we get a call from Nashville sometime. If not, I'm going to move there and see how it goes. Right on.
That's right.
So.
Now, speaking of touring, you're going to be playing a certain show.
Yes.
What is that show? I forget who the act you're opening for is.
Yes, I'm having the opportunity to open for the Oakridge Boys, who's a Grammy Award-winning country artist. Nice. So I'm very excited. I'm doing that with Diana Upton Hill. She's also a performer from around here, Southeast Iowa. She does some country. She does a lot of different things. And so we're going to be sharing the stage for that show.
Does she do country too then?
Yeah, she does a few, a little bit of country, a little bit of everything. She's she's an amazing vocalist, and it's always an honor to work with her. So
have you performed together, like duets and things?
Yes, we have, and a little sneak preview, maybe on the album you'll get to hear. I've written a few duets, so we're not sure though. So you might get to hear her on that. So.
Nice. The Oakridge Boys, of course, I was telling you a little earlier, and I was in country music for about 10 minutes, and I was on tour with the Oakridge Boys also, and it was an incredible experience. They're outrageously funny, and I don't know what they're like these days because that was 20-something years ago, but that was a blast, and I think that one of the things that's going to come out of that is when you watch them and how professional they've done this. They're so fine-tuned as far as like what a show, how it's edited, what you do, the moves, the timing, everything. It's so tight, or at least it was. I don't know, but they're the epitome of a showbiz band. They're a band that you can watch and see how you do it,
right?
And then figure out what can I do that's like that,
right.
You know, for your own and apply it to yourself. But yeah, I really liked those guys. And then years later, when I was a compilation producer, I got to do a series of releases of theirs. Jim Halsey was my manager. Jim Halsey is their manager. And so I worked with him, and we put together Gold, which was this double disc anthology, a single disc anthology, and a little, cheapy thing that you could, for $5 that you find at like Walmart. But it was really fun. But going through all that music, I realized that this is really an intense group. It's beyond just them being a country group. For instance, they are on Slip Sliding Away, Paul Simon.
Right.
Right. That's not country, not exactly country, but that was a nice moment for them. And they've had a lot of pop hits. All right, enough about the Oakridge Boys. They certainly don't need the publicity. So, but let's talk
about this guy.
Yeah, let's talk about more about this guy. Tell us, actually, you know what? Tell us about this guy.
So this guy, is that referring to me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay, me. Well, I am going to high school right now. I'm 18 years old, and I'll let Fairfield know that. I go to Fairfield High School. I'm a senior. We'll be graduating this year, hopefully. No, we will be. And my plans are to be a country musician. I got the bug when I was 16 years old. I was playing in my basement full time because I had a knee injury. I used to be very athletic, and don't ask me to be athletic anymore because I've lost all my
What
coordination.
happened? Was it a sports injury?
Yes, it was a sports injury, and it was a knee injury, and I ended up being told by the doctor that I'm not going to be able to play sports. That was...
Yeah, I mean, cricket can be a really rough game.
Water polo,
Oh, yes.
actually.
Yeah.
What sport?
I was a soccer player, and I played football, and I played basketball. I was all around.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so my dad brought home a guitar a week later because I was pretty down. I was like, well, what do I do, you know? And I've never been a video game or a movie person. So he brought home a guitar, and he's like, you sang all the time to Grandma back in the nursing home. He's all like, let's see what you can do. And since I had nothing else I could really do, I just played and played and played and played, and then I got lessons, and then it's been an amazing experience. And then I got the bug because I got to open up for Joe Nichols, who's a big country act in Eldon, and that was my first show really actually playing in front of people, and it was in front of 1,600 people.
Nice.
And so,
no pressure.
Yeah, my dad's like, well, you're either going to go out there and blow it, or you're going to really love it.
That's what dads are for.
That's right. Get in the pool and swim.
So I went up on stage, and that feeling, that experience, I just, there was nothing like it, and I knew right then and there after that show that that's what I wanted to do. And I got on with Justin Hill. I accidentally called him, actually. I was looking for a vocal instructor to work on stuff because I figured playing in my basement, there's not very many fans down there other than my cats and my dog.
How many cats? How many cats?
2 cats.
All right.
So, I mean, that's 3 fans, a dog and 2 cats.
You started in
But
this
so
spot.
Some people start with less.
there you go.
That's right.
I talked to Zach Ryder, who's the vocal instructor at Fairfield High School, and he gave me a list of a few people, and I meant to call somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but I accidentally called Justin, and he said, it takes 2 years to get into my school of music, but come on down and let's see where we can place you. And I played him a song, and he said, can you start next week? And that was such a blessing. And it was
That's
an amazing
a boost.
thing.
Yeah.
And so then we worked together, and I eventually got signed on to Hill Productions, which is an artist development and management contract. So we're playing shows all around. Nice. We're headlining a show. I don't know when this is going out, but this Saturday, which is April 6th, at the Honey Creek Resort.
Yeah,
so
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. So this will be past, but we'll be headlining there.
You
so.
forgot how great you were. That was a really great show.
It's
Don't
one of
you
the
guys
best I've never seen.
I see
Yeah,
what this is
it went
amazing.
very
It was
well.
another. Here we go. Okay.
I know, the cats and the dogs in the audience, they were going nuts.
Yes, they loved it.
One of my favorite moments of this particular show, that you sang for Grandma at the retirement home. I love that. I mean, that was like that's sort of the family. The whole thing with Fairfield, the thing that's endeared it to me, is a lot of. I hear stories like that all the time, and I see people interact here. I'm so jaded. I come from New York. I come from California, and then I come here, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? People are nice. What is this nice thing? And I'm always amazed at just how nice and how cool some of the people are here that I've come across. Do you feel like one of the things that I notice here, where I'm going with this, is that you'll be good. One of the things that I noticed here is that there is maybe because it's the money thing, but it seems like there's a lot of service. There's a lot of service in this community. Like if somebody says, I need this, can you help me with this? They're there in a second. And money is sort of like the second thought, although me being jaded, I wish it kind of was sometimes the other way around. But the community is it is like that. It seems like it's a very giving, everybody supporting each other kind of thing. That's sort of the purpose of the show, also, to present Fairfield to Fairfield, and all that implies, and beyond. But but it's really, that's sweet that somebody, you know what I mean? It is a very difficult thing because somebody, especially like a recording artist or future recording artist, sometimes you're in your own head and you've got your own stuff that you just want to focus on. But, you know, knowing you, I know you're somebody who thinks bigger than that. Johnny Cohen was another one who was talking about, when he was on the show, was talking about service. And he was talking about it really casually in such a way that it was like, this was not a forced conversation. This was like exactly what he was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys find that, or is this sort of just something that I'm examining at the moment?
We have no idea what you're talking about.
You're living in your own world here, Mike.
Really?
But if you did know what I was talking about, doesn't it feel like that's sort of what's going on? There does seem to be like a very interknit community where it does seem like everybody's sort of there for each other. If somebody needed your music video, I'm not saying this as an advertisement, hey, come to Donald for a free video, but if it was one of your pals at least, and they really needed some help with something, you probably would be there for them.
Yeah, you know, it's like, pay me $500 and I'll do anything.
No, there you go.
I've heard that, actually.
And you get all that generosity.
Yeah. No, you know, it's, I'm a big believer in favors. So, you know, if the right moment comes along and someone pitches me a concept that I like, then I'm absolutely will be on board to shoot it.
That's what I'm saying. It's sort of like it starts with the creative thing, and the creative thing seems, in this town, seems to be the most important thing. And then it's almost like you figure out how to make the money on it later.
Yeah.
But everybody's expressing themselves creatively and trying to, and hooking up creatively together like that with a good idea. And then it kind of spirals out into possibly something making money, probably whatever, it being marginal.
Just making the content and finishing off the content is always what's been, for me as a filmmaker, what's been the thing driving me forward. And then whatever, it's always like, kind of weird. It's like you finish that, and then it's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to market this too. So you're often, you know, from my perspective, you're often finishing a really long project, like my movie or like a music video, and then it's out there, but it's like no one's pushing it forward after that, you know. So it's there. I don't know. There's definitely good things, you know. You get a lot of stuff done that way, but sometimes people never hear about it, which seems like it's not going to be Mitch's problem.
Not at all. So you are an anomaly in this way, because like the musicians over at St. Mary's, Pete's Beauty Shop, they're really in it for the art. I don't see a lot of like, I'm going to take the world by the tail and make a lot of money. They're in it because they're expressing themselves. They have vehicles and they have an environment so that it's like purely a creative process. It's almost, you know, what the old stereotype of like the bohemian lifestyle, whatever. But it does seem like that's the emphasis of the musicians, the creative community here in Fairfield.
And the thing,
but you've done both.
Yes, and the thing that I really like is the fact that I get to focus on my music. So I'm all about the creative side. I'm focused. I'm sitting at home working on my music. I'm working on my guitar tone. I'm working on my soloing. I'm working on all that stuff. And while that's happening, I'm fortunate and blessed enough to have a team working for me, a marketing and branding team. I have a manager. We're working with a booking agent right now. So all that stuff's kind of happening while I get to focus on my creative art, because a person trying to take it all on, you're gonna lose something there because you just can't do everything. So it's a great thing.
What's an interesting thing now is that it seems like guys your age and you know, well, let's just say in general, an artist, if they're going to be, let's say they don't have a major label supporting them and paying for everything, and you don't have all of these major opportunities, as in, hey, we're going to put this in a movie like next week. If you don't have that happening, you gotta. It's almost like there's a gradual growth, et cetera, that happens out of that. But it's the burden has now, because of the internet and because of how everybody does social media and marketing online marketing. It seems that the burden is on the artist for the most part, right? It seems like that's the new paradigm. The burden is back on the artist as far as figure out how to, hey buddy, you better figure out how to market your stuff. But on the other hand, there's also another growth thing that's coming out of that. I think now that the dust is starting to settle from all the major labels collapsing and the amount of money that used to be thrown at everything in the past gone away, people having figured out how to do it themselves, the artist now isn't the only one responsible for it. Now other people have tried to figure out how to make it work also for an artist. So management means something different than it did even 5 years ago. Placements in movies and television means a little something different than it did because you don't have those big machines. So how do they work it? So now the artist does have a little bit more freedom to give that responsibility back to a manager or an online marketer, or whatever you want to call it, in order for them to take the reins of something so that the artist can still be creative. They don't really know what they're talking about as far as how much money is going to be made, but they're willing to give it a shot. I like that. It's almost like the Wild Wild West. It's almost like starting the darn thing up all over again.
Yes.
Like in the 50s at the end, with everybody selling their own little records out of their cars and stuff like that, and then that turning into another industry.
Yep.
So you're happening at a very, very special and a very exciting time. And the fact that you think business, in addition to letting other people do the business, I bet you have a really sweet career.
And the great thing about it is, too, with that mindset is, yes, I would consider myself a full-time musician, but there's a business side to it. And so the great thing is that filmmakers, you know that industry in and out. And if I, as an artist, have to take that on, it's going to be mediocre, but that's what you do. So we kind of have that. I give that to you to work on, and then we work creatively through it. But your creative side comes out too. So it's a team thing, and it's a great thing because the artist can focus on the music and then also work with specific niches, and then you really get the best product out of it. And it's a great thing.
Nice. And speaking of music, I think it's that time, sir.
All right, well, we'll fire her up.
All right, we've run the clock here. So you have been watching another exciting episode of Fairfield 2.0, and today we had Donald Revolinski,
Hello.
filmmaker and beyond. We've had Andrew MacKenzie, music aficionado, expert and beyond. You've got to tune into one of these shows. When are they?
At your own risk.
They're rerunning your shows. When is crew?
I think it's Tuesdays from 8 to 10.
I promise you there will be at least 10 things that you learn from any one of his shows. I swear.
Whether you want to or not.
Exactly.
Whether you watch it or not, you're just as solar-powered Crew FM or whatever they're calling it these days. And you, sir, you're about to play some music, Mr. Mitch Goudy. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we have on Fairfield 2.0 Mr. Don Felder, amazing singer-songwriter and guitarist. He has a new album, by the way, Road to Forever, and we're gonna be talking with him in, right now. How are you, Don?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing really well, buddy. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for your time and for, coming to Fairfield 2.0.
That's my pleasure. I've heard a lot of great stuff about it.
Thanks so much, buddy. All right, let's dig right into this new album. This is the first one in a while. And it's a large body of work. It's quite a few songs. Can you go over just as far as the overall picture of this album? What motivated you to want to do this record, and maybe some stories behind how you approached it, recording wise, etc.
Yeah, sure. When I left the Eagles in 2001, I spent a couple of years trying to figure out how I'd gotten from this little dirt road in Gainesville, Florida, starting to play guitar when I was 10, and the course of that path had led me through many other musical experiences and eventually into the Eagles. And it had become such a huge part of my life that when I left the band, within that same 12-month period, I also went through a divorce of my wife of 29 years. I really had all of the identities that I had assumed for the last 20-something years just kind of stripped away. And I needed to find out how I had gotten to this place in life and how I could center myself and deal with a lot of these issues before going forward. So I started doing these daily series of meditations about specific parts of my life. When I came out of those meditations every day, I would write down in longhand on legal pads those specific recollections. My fiance read those and realized that it would be a really interesting book, and hooked me up with a guy named Michael Ovitz, who had a company at the time that had a publishing division. Next thing I know, I had a contract to write a book, which became entitled Heaven and Hell, My Life in the Eagles, and went on to be a New York Times bestseller. But during the process of all of that, writing and recollection, as I would go through periods of my life where I'd had really emotional situations like the breakup and divorce with my wife, not only did I write it in text, I'd go into my studio and I would write songs about it. the musical release for me is the greatest expression of emotions, more so for me than just writing text. So I started writing these songs about these life experiences and things that I had been through kind of simultaneously at the time that I was writing this book. After I finished promoting the book, I said, I need to finish some of these songs and have some new music to play in my live show. So I came back and went through this list of 26 song ideas that I had made demos and sketches of, picked the best 16 songs, and said, I'm going to take these in the studio with some friends and finish them and put them out as a CD. And so that's kind of how it all came together.
Beautiful. Don, you have a song on this album called Heal Me, and I'm assuming that is relative to these meditations that you were talking about.
It's really relative to everyone that goes through life, and whether you're battered by childhood trauma or the loss of a loved one or just all the things that life barrages us with over time, we all wind up with these scars on our hearts and souls. And there was a point in this process where I wanted to find a way to heal myself from those kind of scars of life. And meditation was a big help, and writing the book and writing these songs was a very big help. But it kind of happens to us all. As a matter of fact, all of these songs have a very kind of human quality about them that hopefully other people can relate to in a very similar way and identify with. And so Heal Me has that feeling of wanting to find a way to release yourself from the scars that life has battered us with.
Nice. We are, for anybody joining us right now, we are talking with Don Felder. Has a new album, the new album titled Road to Forever. Don Felder, of course, being formerly of the Eagles, as he just mentioned. I want to throw out there also the first track here, Fall from Grace. I Don't Want to Fall from Grace, the grace of love. Is that sort of what it all comes down to? Is love sort of the healing balm in all of this?
Yeah, I think we all go through times of our life where we're madly in love with someone or something, and no one really likes to go through that painful plunge, which is the fall from grace of love. It's the dark part of the beautiful light that comes with love. Nobody wants to experience that. And at 2001, when I left the Eagles and left my marriage and divorce, it was a very difficult time to deal with emotionally. So I thought that song was a great way of putting all of that into one song idea about, in an optimistic way, of not wanting to fall from the grace of love. If you're going to take the leap of faith and believe in love and try to reach out and experience love, you run that risk. And as we all know, that risk can be a very painful experience, but it comes along with the joy of your heart just being inflated with the wonderful feeling of love. So it's kind of hand in hand. It's like the light and the dark, heaven and hell, love and love loss. It's kind of written in that theme.
Beautiful. All right. I have another question for you about the songs on this album, which is the song Wash Away the Pain with Tommy Shaw. How did that all come about?
Well, it was kind of along that same theme. It was about trying to find a way to release myself from the painful experiences that I was going through. And I had written a lot of lyrics for that song and just wasn't particularly happy with them. So I called up Tommy, who miraculously happened to be in Los Angeles because, as you probably well know, Styx was on the road for 150 shows a year. They're gone almost all the time. But he happened to be in town. I said, Tommy, I'm writing this song. I need you to come over and listen to me and put an ear to it and let me know what you think. So Tommy was gracious enough to come over, and we spent 3 days working on 3 songs, actually. Heal Me, Wash Away the Pain, and then we wrote this other acoustic song that sounded so much like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, we couldn't really use it on my record. It was just inappropriate. It was a little out of context for that. But Tommy did a wonderful job just really getting to the point musically and lyrically of what I was trying to say in these lyrics, and helped me kind of clean up some of the lyrics in a really poignant yet non-preaching way. He's very talented, great singer. So we had had my tech set up a mic in my studio, and I said, while you're here, you need to sing the choruses on these with me. So we recorded the vocals on the chorus, and Tommy wound up helping both write the songs and sing the choruses with me.
Beautiful. Is that the first time you worked with Tommy?
I've known Tommy for a while, and we've played together live, but it's the first time we actually sat together in the studio and worked on some music. It was a delightful experience. It really just kind of unfurled in a very easy-flowing, non-critical way. It was nice to be able to throw out ideas, both from him and myself, and be able to, with a great deal of admiration and respect, sort through them and decide jointly what was working and what wasn't. So we were just delighted. It was a very easy-flowing, happy, kind of fun experience.
Nice. We are talking with artist, songwriter, guitarist extraordinaire, Mr. Don Felder. And you are, of course, formerly of the Eagles, as I mentioned before, and there's a new project coming out. I guess at some point it'll be commercially available, but it's that history of the Eagles two-part documentary.
Yes,
what was, I mean, you were part of, let's put it like this, you were part of one of the biggest acts and one of the most important acts that America has ever offered. And I mean, I guess, how do you feel about all that? I mean, you were part of an iconic group there.
Well, it's really particularly flattering to have had fate lead me along this path to wind up in that band and then be a part of it in a substantial way, to have presented and brought the idea and the music to Hotel California, and it being kind of the crown jewel of their catalog, have been a part of that. It's really flattering. I have some really fond memories of being in that band, and the music we made together was spectacular. I don't think any of us have gone on individually to surpass any of those efforts that we did jointly. And you look back at your life and go, well, we wrote some great songs together. Was it difficult? Yes. Were there times of arguing and frustration and contentious behavior? Yes. But the end result was a lot of really great music. So it was all worthwhile.
You know, what's interesting is that when you get a lot of artists together, and I mean artists, people who really can't help themselves but create, it seems that, you're going to, just creatively, it makes sense that you're going to be bumping heads, whatever.
You're absolutely right, Mike. Anytime you get 5 extremely talented A++ personalities in the same band that everybody writes, everybody sings, and everybody plays really well, you basically have 5 frontmen. Any one of us had and could have and are fronting their own band. So you wind up with these issues about who's in control, what songs are going to be used on the record, whose lyrics are better, who's going to play guitar. It's not like one leader. It's a bunch of people. And the band was originally formed as no sidemen. Everybody had been sidemen in other acts, and I think Glenn was one that said there are no sidemen in this band. We're 5 guys in the band, and that's the way it's going to be. But little did we know the power struggles down the line would kind of replace that philosophy with a different approach to dealing with the issues. So anyway, it's a difficult task, you're right, to have so many artists in the same room, all wanting their songs, their lyrics, their voice heard, their ideas put across, and it was a tough challenge, you're right.
Well, I don't envy you, but on the other hand, I do envy you. You were, again, as I say, you were part of one of the most important bands I think that's ever existed. And but for those who are just joining us, by the way, we are talking with Don Felder. Don Felder has a new album, Road to Forever, and we've been talking about it, as well as a little bit of Eagles just now. And let's close the Eagles conversation, but before we do, I'm just curious, do you have a favorite of all the stuff that maybe either you played on or wrote or, that you guys recorded as a group? Do you have a favorite song?
Yeah, I think my favorite track would have to be Hotel California. It started as such an abstract musical piece that I wrote in my little beach house in Malibu on a 4-track demo tape machine. I recorded the basic progression, wrote the chorus, wrote the bass line, put all the guitars on it. As a matter of fact, I just found that original demo cassette that I gave Don and Glenn that was, I think it was 6.5 or 7 minutes long, and transferred it to digital, and was really kind of astounded at how close to the original record it all was. I think every time I hear that song, I think fondly back to those days on the beach, and then standing on a huge stadium in front of 120,000 people playing that same song. As a matter of fact, I just did a show for the United Nations last fall in New York City. There were about 400 or 450 heads of states and presidents from all over the world. Different countries were there being represented, and I went on stage and played Hotel California and got a standing ovation for that song. But what really astounded me the most was that half of the people in that audience did not speak English, yet they knew the song and recognized the song. So every day that song continues to amaze me at how far it's reached on a global basis, people all over the world.
Yeah, I agree, and not only that, but it's it's said on a daily basis. People uttering the phrase, "Welcome to the Hotel California." Things like you can check in any time you like, but you can never leave. Things like that. It was a brilliant song, and it's really a special. I think it's one of the greatest pop songs I think we've ever had. At least most memorable and iconic. One of the most I think that we've ever had.
Well, thank you so much. It's like I said, it's just been a great honor and pleasure to have been part of a project that produced music of that quality. Everybody participated and wrote parts, and including our producer Bill Simjic with some of his suggestions of how things got recorded, to Henley's fabulous lyrics, and the guitar parts that Walsh and I were able to put together on the very end. Just everybody contributed to that in a real team effort, and made some really amazing music.
Nice. It really was. Don, I have a traditional question I want to ask you. I ask everybody this, which is, what is your advice for new artists?
Well, I think the best advice I could give any new artist is be as prepared as you possibly can. In other words, I spent years in the recording studio in Boston learning how to make records, working 6 days a week, making $50 a week. But it wasn't about the money. It was learning how to make records. I spent thousands and thousands of hours teaching myself how to play guitar, how to sight read, how to compose, everything that I could do to be prepared. So when I finally had the opportunity presented to me, as when I moved to Los Angeles, I could go into any studio, do sessions, know how it worked, walk on any stage, play as good as I possibly could. And at that point, your talents aren't quite up to par, or they're not artistically relatable by other people, there's nothing you can do about it. But the key is to prepare for the opportunity. And even today, I play guitar every day for anywhere between a minimum of 30 minutes to a couple of hours, just doodling, looking around, trying new things, playing new licks, new scales. It's like a keyboard on a typewriter. It's not about the keyboard, it's about what you write with it. And it's not how fast you can type, but the words that you say. And so the more prepared you are for that opportunity when it presents itself, the better chance you'll have of being successful.
Beautiful. We are talking with Don Felder with a new album, Road to Forever. Also, there's a new Eagles, I guess it would be a DVD or a release at some point, History of the Eagles. I want to, obviously you're going to be supporting Road to Forever, so you're going to go back on the road, right? You're going to be doing some touring, including a Stephen Stills project, Light Up the Blues concert, right?
Yeah, I have dates that actually start about the middle of May and go through the middle of November at this point, and my booking agent and manager are filling in some of the holes in the dates, so I'll be working all year. Stephen and I have been friends since childhood. One of the first jobs I had when I got to California was working with Crosby Nash. They came in and sang on my record on Fall from the Grace of Love. Stephen has been a strong advocate, as well as myself, of this organization called Autism Speaks. which now the latest numbers is that 1 in 50 males that are born, boys that are born in America, have some form of autism on the scale of autism, from Asperger's to full-blown autism. And it's become a national, if not worldwide, epidemic. And a guy named Bob Wright, who was president of NBC Universal, when he discovered his first grandson was diagnosed with autism, put his life and dedicated his life to trying to find a cause for this problem. He actually put together a lot of fundraisers and benefits. This is one of them that Steve and I are doing March 13th. I take it back, April 13th in LA. But every chance I get to support that organization, and I do. And so when Stephen mentioned it to me, I said, absolutely, count me in. I would be glad to come down and play some songs for you and help raise money for this fantastic organization.
Wow, we wish you all the best with that. Don, that's amazing. All right, let's wrap it up. We have been talking with Don Felder, who is gracious enough to give us some time here for Fairfield 2.0 and also for the Huffington Post. And I wish you all the best. You are one of my heroes, especially the Hotel California. Has affected a lot of people's lives, including mine, and being part of the Eagles, and also your own solo career. We didn't even get to some of the stuff, things like heavy metal or Fast Times at Ridgemont High or any of the other projects that you participated in. But let's do this again in the future, and we'll get even more extensive.
It'd be my pleasure, Mike. I'd love to speak with you again. Like you said, this has barely put a dent in the novel that's been my musical career. So I'll be glad to help you and speak with you again anytime.
Beautiful. I appreciate it. All the best, Don. Take care.
Thanks, Mike. See you later.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Mitch Goudy. I'm here to sing a few originals today. I'm very excited to be here. These originals are going to be going on my summer album that is going to be coming out in spring of 2013, so coming out here pretty soon. And you can check out the dates and updates on my Facebook page, Facebook.com/Mitch Goudy, or my website, which will lead you to all my social media, which is MitchGoudy.com. So the first song I'm going to sing you today is called Song from Summer, and it's talking about how when you see a girl, it brings you back to where you were, and it's the same like hearing a song from summer. So here we go. Do you remember those cut-off jeans, bikini top, and just being a 17? We'd spend every day just me and you, so in love with nothing else to do. Now and then I think about those times when I used to trace your tan lines. I thought those feelings, they had gone away, but then you brought me back to the good old days. You're like a song from summer, I can't help but sing. When it comes on, I turn it up and hit repeat. It's been so long, and now you're stuck on my mind. You're like a song from summer, you take me back every time. Remember that Ferris wheel and me trying everything to seal the deal, just praying luck would be on my side, and at the perfect time they'd stop that ride. Oh yeah, the times have changed and summer's come and gone, but those memories are still alive in those songs. I see myself now in a different way, but then you brought me back to the good old days. You're like a song from summer, I can't help but sing. When it comes on, I I turn it up and hit repeat. It's been so long, and now you're stuck on my mind. You're like a song from summer. You take me back every time. Just bring me back, girl, just take me back. Girl, just get me there. Girl, it's that melody I need. Girl, you're like a song from summer. I can't help but sing. When it comes on, I turn it up and hit repeat. It's been so long, and now you're stuck on my mind. You're like a song from summer, a song from summer. You're like a song from summer. I can't help but sing. When it comes on, I turn it up and hit repeat. It's been so long, and now you're stuck on my mind. You're like a song from summer. You take me back every time. Every time. Alright, the next song I'm going to play is called Take Me Somewhere, and it's about escaping a small town. So. Every seat was open in the small town cafe. Rain was falling on the tin roof when she came walking my way, with a coffee pot in one hand and tired look on her face. It looked like she was feeling low, like this might be a waste. I invited her to sit down to give her feet a little break. She talked about a lot of things, including her mistakes. There's no running from your goals when everyone thinks they know. And time heals no wounds, so I'm ready to go. She said, take me somewhere where the eyes don't judge. Yeah, take me somewhere. I've had enough, just hit the gas and go fast, and let's leave on a prayer. I just don't care. Take me somewhere. She's been trying to get over it, but the bruise is still there. If nobody can see it, then why do people care? He was locked up for 5 years, but what's it mean to him? She's still on the outside, living with his sin. So she said, take me somewhere where the eyes don't judge. Yeah, take me somewhere. I've had enough, just hit the gas and go fast, and let's leave on a prayer. I just don't care. Take me somewhere. Life's got a shadow cast over it. You just gotta keep pushing through and pray someone will give a damn when that cloud's over you. She said, take me somewhere where the eyes don't judge, yeah, take me somewhere. I've had enough, just hit the gas and go fast, and let's leave on a prayer, I just don't care. Take me somewhere, take me somewhere.